A 62-year-old woman stabbed a post office worker last night here in Kokomo. I'm Jenna Webster. What we know so far about this investigation.
Plus, racist responses. We're hearing from state Senate candidates who say their plea to voters ended with vile replies.
And we've made it back into the 70s. Look to the west. There are 80s. We're getting warmer, and those 80s are moving our way.
Good afternoon, I'm Felicia Lawrence.
And I'm Jenny Runovich in today for Dustin. We start this afternoon with racist text messages being sent to candidates running to serve their communities.
3 different candidates are speaking out about the messages they received after sending out text messages asking for people's votes.
Our Emily Longnecker is here now to break down how this all started, Emily.
Well, ladies, we're all familiar with the text messages that go out around election time from candidates asking for support. I talked to 3 separate candidates today, all for different offices, who sent out text messages recently to thousands of potential voters. Most of the responses they got were positive, but they're speaking out about a few that were racist. They say one is too many. This is the message Democratic State Senate candidate Demetrius Hicks and Monica White, who's running for Boone County Clerk, sent out earlier this month, inviting voters to a community forum with them and Democratic congressional candidate Joe Mackey. This is the response White and Hicks say they received back from a potential voter, calling them the N-word.
A particular response definitely was very hateful. Called us, Monica and myself, dumb.
They're not the only black candidates this election cycle to receive this kind of response. Claudette Peterson is running for Pike Township trustee. She also sent out a mass text message asking for support. Here's a text she received back from a voter.
Shut up, you.
The Greater Indianapolis NAACP issued a response condemning what happened, calling it hate speech, saying, quote, "It has no place in our communities or in the future we are building." Now, coming up tonight at 6, we'll hear more from all of these candidates about why they think that this is important to call this out and send a message that there's no place for this, and why what's happened only makes them more committed to running.
Okay. Emily's here with this report, but we're having a camera issue right now, but still a very important story. There's no room in our society for racism.
There's not. No. All right, we'll hear more later. Emily, thank you. Well, now to Kokomo, where police there are investigating after a letter carrier got stabbed multiple times.
So police arrested a woman who they say then caused multiple car accidents. Jenna Webster is in Kokomo, where neighbors helped stop the bleeding until more help came.
This is the Kokomo neighborhood where police say that stabbing took place last night. All quiet right now, but one neighbor tells me she was coming home from work, saw the USPS truck parked over here near this alley, and dozens of police cars. Kokomo police say around 6:15 Tuesday night, a woman stabbed a letter carrier here on North Main Street multiple times. It's left neighbors with questions about why.
I just can't see stabbing somebody or shooting somebody. I don't like that.
One young man says he and his girlfriend were home when they heard someone screaming for help. He says they immediately ran outside.
Same thing with my girl. She got out in front of me, and then she immediately went, because a male lady was running towards us, immediately went to her to administer as much aid as she could.
His roommates tried to help too.
The lady was wearing a jacket. None of us had jackets on, so I had her take her jacket off, and I held it around her head while my roommate was holding her leg for her.
Police arrested a 62-year-old woman, saying after the stabbing, she caused 2 car crashes, then admitted to attacking the letter carrier. They took her into custody on multiple charges, including attempted murder. USPS, in a statement to 13 News, says it's also investigating and is, quote, grateful our carrier is recovering from injuries sustained during this alarming incident. In Kokomo, Jenna Webster, 13 News.
Indianapolis city leaders say they have a plan to tackle youth violence. They're calling it the Youth Violence Reduction Initiative. If you're just now finding me, I'm a journalist at WTHR in Indianapolis, trying to keep you up to date with what's happening in our community. City leaders tout a 62% drop in criminal homicides and a 48% drop in non-fatal shootings the past 4 years. But what's worrying police now is younger suspects and younger victims.
We've seen a slight increase in the number of our youth that have been victims of non-fatal shootings this year, and we've seen a slight increase and the number of our youth that are suspects in non-fatal shootings and homicides, and that's a real concern for us.
This initiative will identify the youth most at risk and connect them with life coaching, mentorship, and family support. The city piloted the program last year, identifying 39 kids that could benefit. They said 60% of them are now actively working or in school. Leaders said only about 50 or so kids citywide would be to a level of risk needed for intervention with this initiative. But what do you think? Is it a solution that will work?
All right, construction causing some issues at a busy Irvington intersection. We're talking about Washington Street, where crews right now are building Indy's Blue Line.
Apparently, drivers are not following the detours. Ella Roach checked it out for us.
Neighbors in Irvington tell me they look forward to the Blue Line coming to the area, but what concerns them is how people drive related to the construction. Washington Street stays busy, from children going to school to people visiting local businesses. And now, construction for the Blue Line. With the intersection at Ritter closed, you can see drivers don't always take the proper detour. Instead, they cut through the parking lots. Some residents say they even see drivers go down one-ways incorrectly. George W. Julian School even made this post on Facebook, acknowledging the inconvenience the closure causes, asking people to remember it's a school zone and slow down. In 2021, a 7-year-old student at the school died after a car hit her when she crossed the street at this very intersection. Sierra Hipsher owns Market Vintage, a block away from the construction and school. Hipsher sees cars go down her street the wrong way and worries for everyone walking, especially the kids.
People just need to slow down, give yourself a little extra time. People live here, people work here, people walk here, so just be safe.
Indigo plans for the Washington and Ritter closure to last about a month. We reached out to IPS, but they declined to comment. We didn't hear back from Indigo. In Irvington, Ella Rhodes, 13 News.
All right, thanks for that, Ella. As you can see, a beautiful day it has been. Is it a little haze, though?
There's a little bit of high, thin cloudiness out there, but overall it's been nice.
Oh my gosh, much warmer, and I know we're trending in the right direction, and I know there's a promise for something even warmer to come.
I think we'll make it into the 80s by tomorrow. Okay. So we're going to go a little warmer, but if you've been paying attention at all this month, we keep stepping up, we step up. And then storms, and then we drop again. Yeah. So it's exactly what's in our forecast here. Take a look. We do have those kind of high, thin clouds in place right now. Live picture from Carmel. Temperatures currently are into the 70s. We do have some southwest winds that have kicked in. So despite the clouds that have been in place for today, we have been able to see the temperatures warm up quite a bit thanks to the southwest winds. Now, most locations are getting into the 70s, but there's still plenty of 60s. Actually, I'd say the 60s kind of have the rule here, but I think we've got a little bit more time before we see the temperatures drop, so we're likely going to see more 70s pop up across the area. And look to the south and west. You can definitely see some warmer temperatures trying to move our way. That's where the southwest winds are bringing in the warmer air from. A lot of those high, thin clouds still kind of pushing through. This system is the one that we're going to be watching for overnight tonight, bringing us a chance for some rain, maybe a rumble of thunder. You'll see that in the next 12 hours forecast, but it'll be as we get into the overnight, likely impacting the very early part of the commute, not necessarily your commute for later in the afternoon, I should say, or even later in the morning. I just think that's going to be between about 5 a.m. to maybe as late as 7 a.m. And then I said the chance for storms, they've actually changed from the Storm Prediction Center, changed this update. I'll talk about what this means for our chances for damaging wind and tornadoes coming up tomorrow.
Thanks, Rob. And Butler is keeping its men's basketball head coach in the family.
That's right. Today, the university named former Bulldogs player Ronald Norad to replace Thad Matta, who retired last week. Our own Butler grad, Rich Nye, in the family, is here today talking about what's going on. You talked with one of Norad's former teammates.
Right. And so Butler's kind of reaching back to its glory days as they get their next head coach in place, hoping that Ronald Norad can lift this program back to championship contention. Norad was the point guard for the Butler teams, coached by Brad Stevens, that played in the national championship games in 2010 and 2011. Norad has coached with 5 NBA franchises, most recently an assistant coach with the Atlanta Hawks the last 3 seasons, and before that with the Pacers. Norad started coaching as the boys' varsity coach at Brownsburg High School back in 2012. And I talked to Matt Howard this afternoon, who played with Norad on those Butler Final Four teams.
It's pretty exciting. I'm excited for Ron and obviously the university. I think he has an incredible love for the university itself, and I think he's going to put everything he's got into it. So excited to see how he builds out his staff, and obviously we got the portal opening up in a week or two, and so a lot of stuff that's got to move quick. He was one of the class presidents while he was there. I didn't have time for that. I don't know how he did, but he just needed to be around people. He wanted to lead people, and you can see that it's a natural thing for him.
And that's NORAD number 5 next to Matt Howard, number 54 in the photo. NORAD will be formally introduced as the Butler head coach at a public event that's at Hinkle Fieldhouse at noon on Friday. Yeah. I'm hoping I'll be there. Can I sign up for that assignment?
We'll assign you now.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I feel like this is kind of like a homecoming in a sense. Is this a surprise for him to be hired?
Not at all. This is one of the 4 names that I gave you last week after Thad Matta retired when this job came open. And the Butler athletic director, Grant Leindecker, he also played with NORAD at Butler. So they're also
a lot of ties.
teammates. Yes.
They already knew.
Those teams were so good. I still remember all of us cheering them on, so kind of cool.
Well, and it's really those teams that put Butler where it's
on
at
the map
today,
yeah,
and got them to the Big East, and now they're trying to get to a place where they can be competitive for a Big East championship. While they've been good a little bit in the Big East, they've never really been a Big East title contender, and they haven't been to the tournament now for several years.
Well, we love when Rich Nye, the sports guy, comes to visit us.
Oh, we do, we do. All right, thanks for all the details, Rich. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Well, up in Muncie, there's a women's shelter right now working around the clock to serve women and children in need. Now they have a new way to provide new resources in the near future. So it's all thanks to a new property. We're going to show you the impact coming up.
And alleviating traffic congestion. Elon Musk just announced the 3 U.S. cities set to receive fully funded underground tunnels. Spoiler alert, though, Indy is not one of them. We'll break it down after the break.